They weren't headliners, but they made the program. 1 card, 3 cards, a month, then gone. This is Portland Wrestling Obscurities, forgotten, brief, and barely remembered. I'm your host, Frank Culbertson, and tonight, a Sawyer who wasn't that Sawyer, a maybe was who might not have been, a one-night John Holmes rib, and a guy named Dick Cheney who kept, picking his shots. It's the summer of 1978. Terry Sawyer drops into Portland for a 10-week run, June to mid-August. He's matched tough right away. Apache Bull Ramos, the Iron Sheik, and a simmering feud with Kurt Von Steiger. Sawyer actually gets 2 wins over Von Steiger, but both by DQ. On the record, that's all he takes home. Now, you hear the name Sawyer in this era, and your brain jumps to Brett or Buzz. This isn't either of them. In other territories, Terry sometimes used Buzzsaw Sawyer, but there's no relation to Brett or Buzz. What promoters did was make him a kayfabe brother to Plowboy Frazier, because the territory system loved a good family tree, even if the branches were duct taped on. In Portland, he's the classic durability test. Work the heavy hitters, get some smoke on TV with the DQs, and move along. 10 weeks, a couple of DQ nods, and the Sawyer name that always made the crowd lean forward, even if it wasn't the one they thought. Now file this one under obscure, even for us. The Oregonian printed a result for November 22, 1975. Jeff Ports over Mike Gibrowski. Clear as ink, right? Except Mike Rogers' own journal from that night says Ports beat Igor Volkov. So what do we do with that? Well, we're left with 3 possibilities. Gibrowski is a misprint for Volkov. Somebody was substituted and the paper never caught up. Or there was a Mike Gibrowski for one night only, and then he disappeared into the ether. But that's part of why this show exists. Sometimes the record isn't a photograph. It's a Polaroid you shook too hard. May of 1986. John Holmes versus Moondog Moretti. Now that's a line. When we asked Moretti about it, he said he didn't remember if it was long, if it was stiff, or even how it ended. Which, if you know the name John Holmes, kind of tells you everything. Someone popped the boys, popped the format sheet, and a John Holmes worked a match. Was it an inside joke? A wink from the office? A way to get a chuckle up in the crow's nest? Probably all the above. Portland wasn't a rib factory, but every territory had nights where somebody scribbled something on the lineup and dared everyone not to laugh. One listing, one night, one big nudge, say no more of a name. And then John Holmes was gone. Okay, last one. Dick Cheney. No, not that Dick Cheney, though the timeline jokes write themselves. He shows up May of 1969, loses to Sandy Barr. 4 months later, back again, loses to Billy White Wolf on September 13th. And then nothing for 4 years. 4 more years. 4 more years. Well, you get it. He returns April 26, 1973. And who's waiting? Bull Ramos. Well, that did not go well. Look, sometimes a guy comes in, takes a couple of tough draws, and the road takes him somewhere else. My favorite part of the legend is the line that he had a shotgun drop kick, which is perfect because the man sure knew how to pick his spots. Did he wrestle anywhere else? We don't know. Did he make an impact on the card? Absolutely. He made the results. And in this series, that's the whole point. Terry Sawyer, tough bookie, 2 DQ wins and gone. Mike Gibrowski, maybe Volkov, maybe a ghost, maybe a typo that became a person. John Holmes, a rib and ring boots. And Dick Cheney, who kept popping up like a punchline with a heck of a dropkick name. These are the crumbs that make a territory's history feel alive. The names you circle, the matches you half remember, the nights that only make sense when you hear them out loud. Obscurities is here to keep those footnotes from fading. Obscurities is inspired by the Encyclopedia of Portland Wrestlers by historian Mike Rogers, available now on Amazon. New episodes drop every Tuesday and Friday. Be sure to follow and listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your wrestling history fix. And tap follow so you never miss the next name dropping from the shadows.